McCourt was born on August 19, 1930. He was born in Brooklyn, New York to Irish immigrant parents. They moved back to Ireland because they couldn't deal with the Depression.
During Frank McCourt's childhood, they were poor but always excited because they had a lot to look forward to.
They were economically desperate. His father was an alcoholic and his mother had too many babies in a short time.
There was no work available in Ireland, and when his father got a job, he drank the wages.
Frank McCourt's schooling was very harsh. When Frank was young, he had typhoid. He got it because everyone shared a lavatory.
They dumped their buckets of waste into this area. Flies and rats were attracted.
Frank McCourt finished schooling at age 13 when most ended at age 14. He went to a government school and couldn't afford to go to secondary school.
Coming out of the slums, he had no shoes and wore the same clothes day after day, so there was no expectation for him to go to secondary school.
At the age of 14, Frank McCourt delivered telegrams for 2 years at the post office as a temporary telegram boy.
First, he had to take a test to get the job at the post office. Later on, he could go to school to become a permanent telegram boy, a postman, a clerk, or an inspector.
While Frank was on the job, he had to throw telegrams under doors and through windows and was attacked by dogs and irritated people.
Frank McCourt came to America at the age of 19. His conditions were very poor. He had no self-esteem or education.
He was told he should join the cops, which angered him because he had no education. He was labeled as soon as he opened his mouth, and he was looked down upon. He seemed to find himself at the bottom of the heap again.
When Frank McCourt's father wasn't drinking, he was a perfect father. But when he had money, he was a different man.
He was laconic, but at the same time, he would tell stories and teach songs.
Frank's mother was depressed because she had lost 3 children, but she still taught songs and told stories.
She would go to the movies and then come home and tell everyone about it.
Frank McCourt went to NYU. He had a dream of living in a small house in the village so he could write there and live with a ballerina, but became a teacher in a rough high school called McKee Vocational High School instead.
He was thrown into a classroom with no one to help him in front of American teenagers. He had to try and get their attention with education. He learned how to drop his mask from the kids in the teaching experience. A book that influenced Frank McCourt was Huckleberry Finn. He wanted to be Tom Sawyer because Tom had freedoms that Frank wished he had.
Another book that influenced Frank was Tom Brown's School Days. Frank's main literature came from church. After a long, hard childhood and successful adulthood, Frank McCourt died on July 19, 2009 at the age of 78.